Why am I even talking about this trope? So, in this month's trope video, we're going to talk about sibling's best friend or best friend sibling. Really, it could go either way, but it's the same premise. I actually typically avoid anything with this trope in it. In fact, as far as I know, I've only read one book with this trope. So this is when, and actually I know that's not true. I know I've read it before, like when I was younger, but I just can't like think of books or anything. Because how else would I know I don't like it? But let's go. So this one is pretty self-explanatory. It is when someone dates like the best friend of their sibling, or a friend, but a lot of times it's a best friend. Like what I think of like cliche wise is like there's an older brother, a younger sister, brother has best friend, brother's best friend and younger sister start dating each other. That's what I think of when I think of this trope. But it could also be that you have a best friend, like say Murphy is my best friend, and then Murphy starts, this is weird because he's a cat, but he's also right here, so he also just got mad at me. And then Murphy is like, wants to date my best friend. Like, it's the same thing, it's just I think typically like the setup would change the dynamic. My experience, what I have seen in like synopsises and people talking about books like this, they typically involve unrequited love, where like that hypothetical I talked about earlier with the older brother and the younger sister is like the younger sister has like always been attracted to older brother's best friend and stuff, and now older brother's best friend like realizes that she's there and she's pretty and she's nice and wants to date her. And I've talked about this before. I do not like unrequited love. It also often can have like a friends to lovers element or an enemies to lovers element to it, because maybe, especially if you have something like that, like I feel like typically when you have a big brother or big little sister thing, a lot of times there's like animosity or just like bickering there, and so the best friend is kind of like pulled into that animosity, so there could be bickering and an enemies to lover element. I do like that, but I still typically avoid this trope. So in my experience, what I often see in this trope, and is the reason I avoid it other than the unrequited love, is the overprotective big brother. This especially bothers me in like adult romances where all parties involved are of consenting legal age. And I mean, not that it makes it better when you're young, but like especially if you're adults. I get that some people think like a protective over brother is endearing, it's sweet, it's kind. And I think that a big brother who cares, or a sibling in general, but this is often a brother thing, it's often a very masculine trait, it can be sweet. I do think that there are times when a brother is very nice and cares and shows some sort of compassion for like it's usually a younger sibling, often a younger like a younger sister. I don't think I've ever even heard one where it's like a younger brother or like a brother, like a male romance or anything. I'm trying to think. I don't think I've ever seen that. However, I tend to find it annoying. Like I said, especially in adult romance, I just don't like when like an adult, again it's typically a girl, like a female, a woman, is being like protected from herself by a brother who only knows better because like he's a man or he's older or whatever. And it's like, if they're dating your best friend or a friend of yours, like that's your friend. Shouldn't they be a good person anyways? Like, I don't know, it just really rubs me the wrong way when characters act like that. And I think it's often used as just like a plot device to create drama and conflict, and I just don't like it. So an example of one that I read that actually has that in it is Fix Her Up by Tessa Bailey. It is one of the main reasons I did not like that story. is because it does feature a younger sister and an older brother, and the older brother is obnoxiously overprotective. However, I am like in the minority of not liking that book. A lot of people really liked it. I do know Amanda from Smart Bitches, she tends to have the same complaint as me, so I know I'm not alone. But yeah. Oh, I did read, this was so long ago though, Be With Me by Jennifer L. Armentrout. It's the second book in the Wait For You series, and if I remember correctly, that does feature the little sister of the male hero from book 1 and his friend. And I remember not liking that as much as Wait For You, but more because of like other elements in the story than because of that. But that one I think I gave like 4 stars. So that one was one that I liked. I have read and liked like dating siblings enemy stories. A lot of times they have kind of like star-crossed lovers, not super dramatic like Romeo and Juliet, but those kinds of elements. So Serena Bowen, I'm thinking like, what is it called? It's May's book. I like just reread Speakeasy. I feel like kind of has some elements of that. The characters, the guy she ends up with, his family is kind of coming around to the Shipley family, which is May's family, but there's still kind of like drama there. So stuff like that. Like I like stuff like that a lot of times. And maybe there the overprotective older brother element is more understandable because you don't like these people and you think they're shit people. So like I can see why it would be fine, like you would feel that way. I don't know, so I probably shouldn't have filmed this, but I wanted to talk about this because it's a very popular trope. I did look up a bunch of book lists. I will leave some down below. If you like this trope and you have books that you really like that feature it, feel free to leave recommendations and I will try to check them out, especially like if I can get them on Audible Escape or something, or from my library. I will try them. Maybe I just need my eyes opened and this trope is really one that I'm gonna love and I'm just being judgmental. Who knows? So leave some recommendations. But those are my thoughts and not recommendations. Sorry. Look at the comments. Hopefully people have left some. And I will see you later. Bye.